traditional chiropractic deals with the spine. We work with the nerve system directly. If I could use the analogy of the brain and the nerve system being like a computer, think of the brain as the computer that runs the body. Body and the brain talk to each other via the nerves, the spinal cord and the other nerves. We work directly with the brain and the nerve system in order to affect change. I want to start off by thanking you for coming out. I know time is precious. And just to loosen up a little bit, I want to share a story with you. Not a real story, but a story nevertheless. In the olden days, you got the old country doctor. And this old country doctor put his son through university. And when the son graduated, he said to him, "Son, I want you to come and run my practice for 6 months. For the first time in my life, I'm going to take a 6-month sabbatical. And that'll be a good experience for you. And you can see what practice is all about." So the son takes over, the dad goes on vacation, and after 6 months he comes back, and the son says, "Dad, I don't want to sound disrespectful, but we need to have a talk." Dad says, "Yes." "Well, Dad, it's many years since you graduated medical school, and things have changed a lot." He says, "Get to the point, son." He says, "Dad, again, I don't want to be disrespectful, but take Uncle Joe for instance. Look at Uncle Joe's file. You've treated his knee for the entire time I was in medical school. You haven't even been gone 2 months, and I've got his knee well. You really need to look into the new stuff." Dad says, "Son, that may be true, but don't you ever forget, Uncle Joe's knee put you through university." So, I know many of you have had a similar experience, being treated and treated and treated. Typically, what happens when people come to see us in this office, they've been everywhere else. Started with the medical profession. And if that didn't work, they'd go to Dr. Google. If that didn't work, on down the line, usually we are the very last person they think of seeing. And we'll get back to that point. First, I want to tell you that the subject for today is Fishing 101. Now, I know very little about fishing. If we went fishing, you'd probably stop. If you depended on me. But the analogy is I want you to teach how to fish for yourself so you don't have to depend on doctors the rest of your life for fish. Does that make sense? So we're going to cover 4 subjects. The first subject is, if we want to know how to get better and how to stay well, where do we come from? How were we designed? How were we built? And the second subject is, if we were built so miraculously and designed so miraculously, why do we get sick? Third subject is, once you walk through my door and you now need a doctor, what's my job? And then number 4, and the most important, and that's why you're here, is what is your job? What can you do to get better, to stay better? I'm going to jump back and forth between these different topics because I only have an hour to share with you that I really need a weekend for. So let's look at where do we come from. All of us were made from information that was donated by mom and dad. Dad donated a sperm, mom donated an eggshell. Those two got together and you were one cell old. Then a miraculous thing happens. That one cell divides into 2. And then 2 divides into 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256. And you can do the math from there on. And in just a little over 2 weeks, you're about the size of a blackberry. Like the first digit of my thumb. And you're just a bunch of cells and they all look alike. They all are identical. Then the next miracle happens. Down the side of this blackberry, a white line develops. And in the textbooks, they refer to it as the primitive streak. Who wants to guess what that primitive streak is going to become? The brain and the nerve system, yes, spinal cord. And the miraculous thing is, it starts at the tail end and goes the other way. You'd think it should start here and go the other way. but it doesn't. And then the next miracle that happens is, from this spinal cord, like how a sweet potato grows vines, you get two vines coming off with little buds at the end. And another two with two buds at the end. The top two becomes the left and the right hand, and the other two, the left and the right leg. Another bud becomes the heart. Another vine, two vines, two buds, left and right kidney. And so every bud becomes an organ. And in as little as 6 weeks, complete little human being. Now it's tiny, it still has to grow, but it's complete. 5 fingers on the left hand, 5 fingers on the right hand. It's not 4 and 6. That's not coincidence. It was designed that. 5 toes on the left foot, 5 toes on the right foot. And a very lucky break for this baby, it's got holes in its skin. And 2 of the holes happen to be exactly where the eyes are going to be. Now, if I had to design and make the baby, I'm sure I'd get the holes off a fraction here or there. My other passion in chiropractic is woodshop, and I'm very familiar with the expression, you have to measure twice and cut once. And oftentimes I wished I measured 3 times. And I am a rehabilitated perfectionist. I'm only a perfectionist in my woodshop. Outside of there, I'm now rehabilitated. And I use the slogan that there is just one perfection and that's not me. And that's very comfortable. And instead of going for perfection, I now go for excellence. Makes life so much easier. So then, in 9 months' time, this little baby that started off with half a cell from mom and a half a cell from dad is born. Now that long, our youngest was 52 centimeters long, which is exceptionally long. And it's perfect in every way, shape and form. And up until that point, that baby was not connected to mom's nerve system. Now I have a question for you. If the baby is not connected to the nerve system, how did the sperm find the egg? Dad donates in the vicinity of 300 million sperm, and only one gets through. How did that sperm know? There was an egg to be fertilized. They've done experiments where they would put sperm in a petri dish, and they just swim around aimlessly. The moment they introduce an egg to one side of the petri dish, they all head for the goal. How do they know? Does anybody want to venture a guess? Something called the innate intelligence. Innate intelligence, think of it as the power that made the body, that built the body. Inborn intelligence. If you want to, you can connect it to religion. Not necessarily. Atheists have it too, dogs, cats, everybody has it, that inborn intelligence. Anything that's alive, the trees have it too. So that innate intelligence has those two things get together. The innate intelligence makes one cell divide into 2, into 4, until you're 71 quadrillion, trillion, I forgot the number, it's more than you can count. It's just a whole lot of cells. And it's the innate intelligence that makes it divide and specialize. Some become brain cells, some become nails, hair, skin cells. And your body never ever stops making new cells. As long as you live, it makes new cells. Now, another interesting thing that most people don't know, none of us in this room have got any cells left in our body that we were born with. All of those have been recycled. The physicists used to tell us that it would take 7 years for the body to recycle all the cells, one at a time. Now they say it's 3.5 years, and what I see clinically, I think 3.5 is closer to the actual number than 7. The cornea of your eye will regenerate in 24 hours. Anybody here had eye surgery? How long did it take before the eye patch came off and you could see? 24 hours. Nerve tissue, the most specialized, takes the longest to regenerate. Months, many months. It only goes that much in a month. So if you have surgery and you none below the incision, those nerves have to regrow. A while back, very cleverly with the utility knife cut through my thumb up here, and the rest of the thumb went numb. Now, and that's probably about a year ago, I've got feeling back almost to the tip of my thumb. So the nerves regrow, it just takes time. Now, if the body was designed and made so miraculously, how in the heck then do we get sick? There are three reasons. Number one, physical stress, car wrecks, falling on the ice. Number two, chemical stress, and that's a big one. What we eat, what we drink, what we put into our bodies, what we put onto our bodies, medications, shots, lotions, potions, the stuff around us, pollution, not to forget electronic pollution, which is everywhere these days. You cannot buy a car, you cannot even buy a tractor today that doesn't have electronics in it, and when you operate that tractor, you're in an electronic field, which is not good for you. And I'll demonstrate later for you what a cell phone does to your energy field. Now, for a moment, let's get back to the innate intelligence. It's that innate intelligence that creates a field of energy around us. The best analogy I can use is that of a magnet. You know, when you look at a magnet, you cannot see the field around it, but you can demonstrate it by passing it under a sheet with iron filings on it. You can very clearly see the radiations around the magnet. Our body has that energy field as well, and in a healthy body, it's where your fingertips can reach. It should be that big, so it should be about the shape of an egg. When a person is really sick, that energy field shrinks back and back and back until it's barely just visible above the skin. Now, I've never been able to see one. The only times I saw it was through Kirlian photography. We were at a seminar in Las Vegas one time, and Peter had a sore throat. And if I remember correctly, I think I was the cause of the sore throat. And there was a booth with Kirlian photography equipment, and I said, Peter, have your picture taken. They took the picture, and her field was shrunk in, and around her throat area where she had the sore throat, it was all bright orange, yellow, red colors. Then at the end of the seminar, she was feeling much better, and she'd forgiven me by then. I urged her to have another picture done. The second picture, all of this had gone to blue and green. Now, blue and green, if you don't know, are the colors of healing. In our previous office, everything was blue and green. I lost some say-so when we designed this office. You don't see much blue and green here. But I have a wife and two daughters, so I was outvoted. Funny how that happens. So, the energy field should be this big all around us all the time. On the first picture, hers was shrunk in. On the second picture, it was fluffed out. Now, we've established that we get sick because of physical stress, chemical stress, and who would want to guess what the third stress is? Emotional stress, yes. Bigger than you would ever imagine. And every person that I've ever had my hands on in the 47 years I've been in practice, and all three of those. But everyone has their own unique little recipe. More of this one, less of that one. In different layers. First you deal with the emotional, and then later comes the chemical. Sometimes the physical is the very top one. And so every patient is different. And so that brings us to what is my job. My job as a doctor is, and all of us in this clinic, the doctors, our job is to find out why the body got sick because of one of those three stresses. Now, notice I said three things, but everyone has to do with stress. So really, if you want to bring it down to the bottom line, you get sick because of one reason and one reason only. The body's inability to handle stress. Whether you fell on the ice, or you drank cyanide, or your dog died and you're in emotional stress, any one of those three, or all three together, the brain and the nerve system cannot handle the way it should. Your brain and your nerve system is the go-between you and the stress. And if it works properly, the stress will never get us sick. In our profession, was lecturing one time and he told the story. His youngest boy had graduated high school and was just living at home several months after graduation, had no direction, didn't know what he wanted to do. And so the dad was getting ready for work one morning and he saw the boy sitting in the backyard at a picnic table. So he went out to the picnic table to see what he was doing. He was all bent over and concentrating on something. And the boy had a cocoon where a butterfly was trying to get out of, and he had a tiny little scissors snipping the silky wires so the butterfly could get out. And so the next day, the dad's getting ready for work, looks through the bathroom window, and the boy is back sitting at the picnic table. So he goes out there again and finds that the butterfly had died during the night. Beautiful butterfly, but it was on the picnic table, it was there. And the boy was upset about it. And the dad says, "Son, let me explain something about life to you. The struggle of the butterfly to get out of the cocoon is what gives it the strength to survive its environment. You made it easy on the butterfly and it couldn't survive." He says, "Now let that be a lesson for you. Do you see this check I'm writing you? This is the last check you get from me. You now have to find a J and B." I thought that was a good story, since I've got 5 kids. So, body's inability to handle stress. Now you walk through my door, and what I've learned about people in the 47 years I've been in practice is that they think that I have a magic lotion or a potion or a scalpel or something. Out there is someone that holds the magic that will cure me. I just have to find it. There's never anything further from the truth than that. There is zero, absolutely none, no healing power in a pill, in a potion, a lotion, a shot, a scalpel. Healing power is in the patient, not in the doctor. The doctor has a healing power too, but that will only heal this body. It won't heal your body. I cannot heal or cure you any more than I can eat on your behalf or I can exercise on your behalf. You have to do it. My job is that of coach and guide. I have to figure out why is your brain and nerve system not doing what it is supposed to do. Now, as we all know, the brain and the nerve system is the computer that runs this body. You cannot move your little finger if the brain does not send a signal all the way to the little finger. Christopher Reeves, good case in point. I jumped his horse, injured his neck, and after that was paralyzed arms and legs. And I suspect that the signal to his internal organs was very much reduced as well, less than 100%, because he didn't live very long after that, before he passed away. Now, that brings up another point. The brain should send 100% signal to every part of your body 24/7, whether you're awake or asleep. When you're asleep, all your internals keep on functioning. The hearts keep on pumping, the kidneys, the liver, everything keeps working. And the signal must be 100%. If the signal is 99%, there's a 1% chance something will go wrong. Or if it's already wrong, 1% chance it won't get better. Does that make sense? Any questions? I want to demonstrate to you how we find these interferences, and for that I'm going to need a volunteer. Preferably someone that's never been adjusted, and preferably someone that is very skeptical of what we do. Do we have someone like that?
I've been adjusted.
How many times?
Not you guys.
How many times?
Probably less than 10.
Yeah, we have someone.
Okay.
Oh, back in the room?
If I could get you to tell me your name.
Chris.
Chris?
Yes.
You can funny, where you from?
Australia.
Australia! Get on the table, here face up. Now you could have said, I felt funny too. Oh, if you would screw down to where the heels are just off the table, I want the ankles to relax. A little more, another 2 inches. Good. How long did it take you to fly here?
30 hours from when we left home to when we
30 hours. For me to go back to South Africa is about 28 hours. The longest leg is about 18 hours. Long time. So, tell me your name again.
Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Do you have any issues health-wise? And you don't have to identify them, just yes or no.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Can you think of what it is? Okay. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at her heels. We want the heels to be even. They should not be uneven. Unless if there is a leg that is anatomically short. So, let's have a look and see. Relax the legs like cooked spaghetti. Throughout the rest of this talk, I'm going to say every once in a while, what can you do? Pay attention when I say that. Because that's what this talk is all about. What can you do? So the first thing that Chris can do is to make her legs go like cooked spaghetti. The worst thing that you can do to me when you're on the table is to give me legs like that. And the perfectionists tend to do that. Just rigid as can be. You pick up the heels and they lift, the whole body lifts up like a ball. So, she's got her spaghetti very nicely cooked. And for those of you that are up close can see that it looks as if the left leg is about a 3/4 inch higher up than the right leg. So there are some possibilities. Have you fractured that leg ever, Chris?
Yeah.
Was it shorter because of the fracture? Not that you know of. Were you born and raised on a hillside? Okay. I've never been to Australia. I don't know what the world there looks like. So we can establish or assume that something's going on here. She's out of kilter here. Now the next thing we do is muscle testing. And Chris, we do it. Have you ever done it?
No.
Okay. You lock the elbow in, leave the fingers loose, and I'm going to say hold and push this way, and I want you to resist. So hold. Make sure you resist. Hold. Okay. And when you resist, I want you to resist exactly the same way every time. Because if you give me sometimes a weak or sometimes a stronger arm, I'll miss my cues and you don't get the cave. So lock this in, straight, like this, straight, okay, and hold. Okay, now when you do this, you're not arm resting. When I say hold, your ear picks up my voice and it sends a message to the brain sends a message down the spinal cord, along the nerves, to here, and I want to see when I push on that arm, how quickly does the signal get here. Should be instant, should be 100%. If it's 99%, something's going to go wrong in this body. So, give me a strong hold, straight left, and do straight, hold strong. Yeah, okay. So, 100% signal instantly. So I know she's got a good arm. Now, I'm going to ask you to think about what's physically wrong with your body, and don't tell me, just think about it. You there? You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to use my little finger. Think about what's wrong and hold. Are you holding?
Yes.
Make sure you hold strong. Think about what's wrong. Hold. Okay. She's got her eyes open, and I can push the arm down with my little finger. Now close the eyes and hold. Okay. Think about what's wrong in your body. Close the eyes. And it goes much weaker, and she's fighting like crazy and she can't hold it. Give me my little finger. Why does the arm go weak in the first place, and why does it go weaker when she closes her eyes? With the eyes open, when I push on the arm, I want to see how quickly the signal gets here. And we see what's on the computer screen here and now, eyes open. Eyes closed, we get to see what's on the hard drive, what's in the archives. So I can tell you that there is a stress that happened in the past that has to do with whatever is wrong with your body. And that's all I know. Now at this point I want to make it very clear that sometimes it would seem like I can read minds, but I can't, thank goodness, because if I could, I would have what every one of you's got. I don't want any of it. So now I have to find out, is it physical, chemical, emotional? And we ask the body questions and it will give us answers. I'll demonstrate it up here. Remember, strong. And when I say strong, it's not really strength that we're looking for. We're looking for reaction time. How quickly does the body react? So hold, Okay? Now, think about skies blue and hold. Okay. Think about grass is blue. Hold. Okay? I get 100% signal every time. Think about what's wrong in your body. Hold. Okay. Close eyes. Think of what's wrong in your body. Hold. Goes weak. She's clenching her jaw and fighting me. She does not want to look weak, but it is weak. And that's my biggest problem. What can you do? Especially men patients. We're not arm wrestling. Don't fight me. We're wasting energy. I just need to know how quickly does the signal get here. Use as little power as possible. Conserve energy. At the end of the day, my arm gets kind of tight. Okay, so why does the arm stay strong when you think about blue sky or green grass? Most patients will say, you're distracting me. Well, when you were a little toddler growing up, someone taught you the color blue, and your brain filed that information in the blue file. And then they taught you the color green, and the brain filed it in the green file. So when I ask you now to think of blue or green, your brain has to read the file and send the signal. Those two files are not compromised. The data in those files are not corrupted, so the brain can read and send 100% signal instantly. The moment we ask the brain to read the file on what's wrong in the body, that file has got a glitch in it, probably several glitches. Very rarely come a patient with just one glitch, and the computer gets stuck and we get less than 100% signal. Does that make sense? Okay. So now I have to find out, is it physical, chemical, or emotional? And to do that, we ask the body questions, and I'll demonstrate up here. And I'm going to ask the question to which we now know the answer is yes. I'm going to ask her if her name is Chris, and the body will give us an answer. Is your name Chris? Okay, I get a strong arm, so now strong to me is yes. Then I'm going to ask her a question, is your last name Smith?
No.
No, okay. So I'm going to ask the question, is your last name Smith? And you hold just as strong as you can. Is your last name Smith? And hold. She's trying hard, but I can push the arm down. So a weaker arm or a lesser signal means the body says no. Everybody clear on that? Any questions on that? Okay, now I ask the same questions down here. And I don't have to ask it out loud. I can just think the question and the body will give me a response. To clarify that a little bit, this energy field, Chris has an energy field, I have one. The moment our energy fields blend, I can talk to her innate intelligence energy field and ask questions and get answers without speaking, just thinking. And this is where it gets a little weird and a little scary, maybe. So maybe you should lock that door, no one can get out. So I'm going to ask the question out loud just so the people in front can see. Show me a yes, and we have this leg 3/4 inch that way. Show me a no, and the heels go even. So that's yes or no. Now every time I come back and ask that question again, I have to re-establish which is yes and which is no, because sometimes the patient will switch on you. So when I am working with you on the table, I have to ask a gazillion questions, remember the answers, and come up here. For instance, I have to find out which keys. There are many keys on the body. Which keys on this computer's keyboard do I have to hold down? So if you want to tell me about the fishing or your hunting experience while I'm adjusting you, you're getting less than 100% of my quality time. Dr. K is famous for that. They camp out and they visit and hold a picnic over there, shout back and forth at each other. I have to keep a straight mind. I have to remember the answer to all the questions I'm asking. The quieter you are, the more you get. That's what you can do. Be quiet. Show me a yes, show me a no. Then I'm going to ask a question. No, you don't have to do anything. I'm talking to your feet. And I cannot read your mind. Oh, and I can only ask questions which would benefit the patient. For instance, when my 2 daughters were pregnant, they didn't want to do sonars to know if it's a boy or a girl. And I thought, well, that's simple. I'll just ask the body. The innate intelligence will tell me. It never gave me an answer. Either one of them, with 5 pregnancies, never gave me an answer. It was none of my business. I can only add questions that's to your benefit. If you were a stockbroker, I cannot ask the question, should I buy or sell the bond? The body will not, your body will not give me an answer. So show me a yes, show me a no. We're still the same, even or no. Is there a stress? Yes. Is that stress physical? Yes. Is there a chemical stress? Yes. Is there an emotional stress? Yes. What I said earlier, most patients have got all 3. Now, which is in priority? Is it physical? Yes. Okay. Is it current? No. Is it in the last year? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago. Can you remember where you were 10 years ago? Where you lived? What your life was like? Okay. Can you recall a physical stress from that time? Could have been a major thing like a car wreck, could have been just a stumble, hit your head against an open cupboard door.
No.
Wouldn't remember after 10 years, would you?
No, not really.
Okay. So yes, physical stress 10 years ago. Was there chemical involved in that one? No. Was there emotional involved? Yes. Which one should I address first, physical or emotional? Physical? No. Emotional? Yes. Is that emotion on my list? I have a list here with a bunch of feelings on it, and so I just use that as a prop. Is the feeling that got you stuck on that list? Yes. You switched on me. Show me a yes. Show me a no. Right there, she switched. So if you were telling me about your latest fishing trip, I would have missed that. She would have spent the $45 today and not gotten value for it. So show me a yes. Show me a no. Switched again. Will you make up your mind, Chris? I've got a waiting room full of people. I don't have all day. Just kidding. Okay. So, emotional, is it on the list? Yes. Is it in the top half? No. So, is it number 12? Yes. And then I look at the list to see what number 12 is, and 12 is disappointment. So, can you recall a disappointment going on 12 years ago? 10 years ago. Yeah. Okay, so you do?
Yeah.
Okay, think of the disappointment 10 years ago. And hold on. Okay, very good. Think about sky's blue. Nothing wrong with the shoulder or the arm. It reacts perfectly, but when she thinks about disappointment 10 years ago, hold. And if I push hard enough, she will hurt in the shoulder. Okay, so you remember what it was. Now, I have to update your computer by holding down Control Alt and Delete. Where are the buttons? Do you know where the buttons are?
No, you're unusual.
That's what you're paying me the big bucks for. I know where the buttons are. Okay, so I'm going to hold down 2 buttons, and when we deal with this energy field, you have north and south polarity, just like with the magnet. As Chris is now, this half of her body, above the midline, is north energy. The bottom part is south energy. If she was standing up like I am, this would be north, that would be south. If she turned face down, the part furthest away from the earth would be north, closest to the earth would be south. And you have to contact the points with the right polarity. On the right hand, middle finger, north energy. Left hand, south energy. If I switch fingers, I'll be wasting her time and her money. She wouldn't get that. You have to have the right polarity to update that input in that file. So, take the breath and hold it in for as long as you can. And I'm touching south there and north here. And think about disappointment. And think as negative as you can. Think as happy as you can. And what I'm waiting for is when my fingertips are touching, I want to feel a pulse like you feel on someone's radial pulse. But it's not a circulatory pulse, it's an energy pulse. And now both are strong. So I know I've updated that one ditch. Let's see if I I'm telling you the truth. Lock the elbow in, finger staples. Okay. And think about disappointment 10 years ago. Control. Box on. So we've updated that page. Now let's see what change we can pick up in the leg. We will see some change, I have no idea how much. And we have about half the difference we had. Brent, can you see that here? You may have to reiterate what I say to people who think online. Half the difference. So we now about 3x of an inch, 10 millimeters. Now, I'm going to ask somebody another question. Is there more that I can do for this person at this time? You hold the arm strong every time. Like that, yes. So, is it emotional stress? Yes. Do we deal with a physical stress today? No. So, it's another emotional stress. Keep thinking of what's wrong in your mind. Oh, now, very important, when I say think of what's wrong, let's say she's thinking about her knee. What I'm doing is not to fix the knee. What I'm doing is to remove the interference so that this computer can get back to housekeeping. We're using the knee as a calling card. Whatever she's thinking about, when I say think about what's wrong, that's the calling card so the computer will show us the file. I'm not in control of what gets fixed when we update the computer. You are not in control of it. Make sense? Have I lost anyone? Well, something happened while we were talking. The heels have gone in. Think about what's physically wrong in your body. And I now have an 1/8 of an inch short on the left leg. Is there a stress that I can help you with? Yes. Is it emotional? Yes. Is it top of my list? No. Is it number 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17? 17 on the list is anger. Was there anger at the time, 10 years ago, when you had disappointment? Okay, so think of the anger and hold the arm strong. It's one thing. So again, you can let go, let it rest. I have to hold 2 different keys this time, and I've already asked the question, where are the keys, what polarity, etc. Remember I said I have to ask a gazillion questions every time when I come up here and hold points. So we have 2 different ones this time. Take the breath. And I'm touching here with north and back of the head with south. Think about anger, as anything that you can recall. And I'm waiting for the pulses. In front I've got a good pulse, in the back I've got no pulse at all. Now the pulse in the back's coming in. Now they're about equally strong. When they reach that point, I know I've completed that particular file. So let's look here and see. Heels are even. Strong arm. Hold. Hold as strong as you can. Okay, good. And think of what your physical complaint is. Okay, now the arm stays strong. So what her computer has just done, it has closed the menu. It's not going to give me any more files today. That doesn't mean there are not more files. There probably are many more files. But for right now, the computer wants to update those 2 files. It was disappointment and then anger. Those were the 2. That's the label on the file. Any questions? Anybody fall asleep? Does it make sense? Go ahead.
So if someone were to come and see you who really didn't have a physical ailment, but had an emotional stress that was overwhelming, they were dysfunctional in life, is that something you can work on?
Yes, absolutely. Without me knowing what it is, I can tell you what the label on the file is. Often people want to tell me that, but the less they tell me, the more I can help them. Because the more they tell me, the more I become judgmental. And the more judgmental I am, the less I'm getting to the truth and balancing the body back to what it needs to be. Now, I'll be with you in a minute more. Further to your question, you said emotional stress but no physical symptoms. If that person lives long enough, there will be physical symptoms. I've never seen one without. and emotional stress that did not eventually show up in symptoms in the body.
When you make the change on the file and you get the polarity into it, is that permanent or could that come back?
Ooh, I love you asking that question, thank you. Here is another, what can you do? Let me use the analogy of the body being like a pickup truck. When the baby is born, the bed of the truck's empty. There's nothing in it. No baggage. No rocks. At my age, our age, Phelan's dragging, you've got so many rocks on the back. So I've just taken 2 rocks off of Chris's truck and I put them in the back in the dumpster. And I watch people come out and they pay their bill and they go out the front door, and when they think I'm not seeing, they sneak around the back and they go dumpster diving. Give me back my rocks. Those are my rocks. I earned them. You don't know what he did to me. I'm mad at him. So, thank you so much for, does that answer your question? So, you can put it back, the rock back on the truck. And that's where we talk about doing homework. Especially if the same stress keeps coming up. If next visit we have disappointment and anger, and the first visit disappointment and anger, I'm going to get on Chris's case and tell her to do homework. Either see the good in it, or learn the lesson, or let go. One of those 3 things will be true, or will be applicable. And usually it's all 3 of those. Again, each person has their own recipe. Any other questions?
What does a person do if they can't say let go? Or
They keep on suffering. They keep on suffering.
how is there a means to teach yourself to let go? Like when you're trying to help yourself, and I would say most people want to let go or move beyond or whatever, they just don't let go.
Okay, the how is simple. And don't confuse simple with easy. It's not easy, but it's simple. Your number one, what can you do? Your number one tool is awareness. You want to become aware when that feeling like anger or disappointment sneaks back in, you want to become aware of it. So awareness is your number one line of defense. Number 2, make a conscious decision. Do I want to let go of this? Or is there any goodness that I can see? I'll give you an analogy. I worked on a grandmother one time that was molested when she was around the ages 5 to 8 thereabouts. And her entire life she was extremely bitter. And when I suggested that she sees the good in it, she just about came off that table and slapped me around. And she said, that's just like a man thinks. How can there be good in something as wild as that? And I said, well, I know you have daughters and I know you have granddaughters. Would any of the stuff that happened to you have happened to your daughters or your granddaughters? And I could see the light bulb come on in her head. That experience had made her a better grandmother. And from that point, she could start to forgive, let go. And she got better. She got healed. I'll give you another example. A man came to see me, he was in his 50s, and he and his wife owned storage units in the vicinity. And he had migraines. And when I asked him when the migraines started, he said they started 13 years, so many months and days ago. It was on a Tuesday, 1 o'clock, I had the first one. Now, for a man to remember detail like that, usually women will, but men don't. And so I was curious about it, and I asked him about it. And I said, tell me, how did that come about? And he said, well, my dad passed away, and I got the message, and shortly afterwards I had the first migraine. That's how I remember it, so that makes sense. And I started removing interferences, and I worked with him for several months, and we got him from where he had at least 1 a week to where he had 1 a month. And I couldn't get him any better than that. And this went on for several months. So I said to him, oh, and he got stuck on the same 2 feelings. It was anger and guilt, if I remember correctly. And he denied any knowledge of anger or guilt, just flatly denied it. And so it got to a point where I said to him, Joe, we're not getting you any better than what you are now. I don't know why you keep coming back. And if you're really serious about getting better, you have to give it some serious thought. What does the anger and the guilt have to do? where does it fit into your life? And I could tell him where it came in. I could pinpoint it to what year and month it was, and by asking his body questions. And it was a Thursday, and he left, and on Monday was a vacation day, and he came in on the Tuesday, and very reluctantly admitted that he'd known all along what the anger and the guilt had to do with. He said, my dad was my hunting buddy, and we had these trips planned, and when he passed away, I'm now stuck at home. I have no one to go hunt or fishing with, and I'm angry at my dad, and I feel guilty for being angry. In his religion, it was a big no-no to have ill feelings toward a person that had passed. So anger and guilt, and you can see where the guilt was coming from. So once he admitted and was willing to work with that, we got into where the migraines, the last time I saw him, he had gone several months without a migraine, and then after that I didn't see him anymore. I had feedback that he was good probably 3 years ago, so that would mean he's been good for a good 5 or 6 years. That's just another example of how that affects us.
One more, taking up too much time. Could you discover an emotion in a person? Anger, guilt, sorrow?
No, but I can find out the label of...
They don't even really realize.
What I hear quite often from patients is when I give them the name of the file where that feeling is stored, they say to me, I never would have thought that would be a problem. I wasn't even aware that I had those feelings. So yeah, that happens. But I cannot tell you, I can tell you what the label on the file is, but I can't tell you what the emotion is. That's private to you. Any other questions? So, what can you do? We've got a few minutes left and I want to spend all of that on what can you do. You can sit on that first. Thank you so much. You've been great to work with. So, one of the things you can do is get to be as dumb as a tree. And here's what I mean by that. Imagine your body was a tree standing amongst other trees in the woods. The tree would not look at his neighbor and think, this one is so tall, I'm a little short. Look at this one, he's so straight, I'm a little bent over. Trees don't do that, they don't judge. If you can eliminate judgment from your everyday being, it will help you tremendously. Judgment is what gets us in trouble. It's too long, too short, too black, too white, too this, too that. So become as dumb as a tree, just be. Don't judge. That's one of the things you can do. Awareness is the other one. Anything good when you consult Dr. Guru. When you join a support group, all they do is talk about the same thing that you've got. That's why you join the group to begin with. The less you talk about what's wrong, the better your chances are to get better. If I don't want you to think of an elephant, no matter how sincere I ask you not to think of the elephant, the first thing that's going to come to your mind is an elephant. But if I don't want you to think of an elephant and I ask you to think of red roses, chances are very soon that you'll think of an elephant. So avoid concentrating on what the problem is. The problem is the effect. You want to get to the cause. That's what I found with the medical profession. You go to them with a complaint of low back pain and they focus on the low back pain. They'll x-ray the low back, they'll do the scan of the low back. And they ignore the rest. The nerves that go to the low back has got to travel all the way here to get there. That's why we have a full body approach. We consider the whole body, not just part of the body. Very important for healing. If you want to learn more about the energy field and the effect it has, there's another thing you can do, is Google Masaru Emoto. He's a Japanese physician. He's written many books. The one that comes to mind is The Hidden Messages in Water. He has images on the internet of where he would take water and freeze a droplet of water and then put a picture of Mother Mary under the container and take pictures of the frozen droplet. And the frozen droplet would have perfect images of six-pointed like stars in it. And if you put it on a picture, let's say, of Hitler, then it looks like the images are distorted and broken up. and I cannot really explain it well enough in words, but do yourself a favor, look it up on the internet. Masaru Emoto. M-A-S-A-R-U, that's his first name. Last name is Emoto, E-M-O-T-O. And then there is Dr. David Hawkins. He's done extensive research in the muscle testing. And it's interesting, he learned about, he's a medical doctor. He was in an audience one night where a chiropractor was giving a talk similar to what I'm doing. And the chiropractor was using muscle testing. And Dr. Hawkins thought, this guy is just a charlatan, I will show him up. And he started to do research. Well, the result of his research was that he closed his practice and did nothing but research his entire life, and he's in his 80s now, and has written several books. The first book he wrote is Power versus Force, where he very clearly explains how this all works. Any other questions? For those of you that have a hard time buying into this, understanding this, I want to explain that there are two kinds of science. The science that everybody knows about is Newtonian physics. So Isaac Newton came along a few hundred years ago and discovered the laws of physics. He didn't make the laws, he just discovered them. And they existed long before him. Don't you think someone fell off a horse long before he came along? The laws of gravity. Get off the horse, you're going to go down. Then there is a new science that came along in the early 1920s. And a German gentleman by the name of Bohm, B-O-H-M, is considered to be the father of the atom. He discovered that things were made out of tiny little particles. And the tiniest particle that he knew of, he named it the atom. The guy with the big hair, Einstein, he came along and gave us E equals mc squared. You know what that stands for? It's the recipe for the atomic bomb, which is very real proof that there is substance to quantum physics. That is what Bohm gave us, quantum physics. Quantum physics is the science that deals with stuff the size of the atom and smaller. Newtonian physics deals with the size of things like the atom and larger. Now, what is interesting is that chiropractic education, dental education, medical education, they're all based in Newtonian physics. Totally not applicable to the human body. We function at the quantum level. The size of the atom and smaller. That's why we can think questions and somebody will give us answers.